think if I put you here, you can read it. Yeah! Okay, this is fun. Rethinking ADHD and the American Education System. Alright, so I recently just wrote an op-ed about ADHD as a social construct and rethinking of it in that kind of lens, and then also analyzing the American education system because it's failing us and it's not working anymore and it doesn't fit enough of our minds. So the main thing that I hope that, if you read it, I hope that you become aware and become more understanding of not only ADHD and like neurodivergence alone, but also the fact that there is this concept of cultural hegemony that exists, and what that means for us and the systems that we follow and who those systems actually benefit. And then also to always challenge your thoughts, to produce like individual thinking and questioning of like the systems and norms that we're taught to follow, because it's really an important thing to do. This guy, so you know how he talked about like Tylenol and that leading to autism, and so this is the main argument that I'm kind of opposing throughout the entire paper. So Trump claimed that Tylenol equals autism, and what I'm looking at is this pattern of when there's a problem in our society, whether that's like mental health, neurodivergence, anything that is looked at as a problem, we so often look at what is given to children, what are we giving them, what are the parents doing, how are they raising them, what is wrong with the children, and why are they not fitting, right? What is wrong with them? Why are they broken? So I want to mainly like redirect that narrative of what is wrong with children today, and more so look at what is wrong with the environment that we built, and why does it fit so few of them. And the main concept under this entire paper and this entire idea is something called common sense, right? So this common sense of like what is normal and what is not like natural, like I talked about. It's strategic and it's designed. So an example of that is the American education school system. It's designed to fit the needs and the strengths of a neurotypical brain, right? And we see that in any school setting. We have a quiet classroom, harsh lighting, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but it actually is really hard for someone with ADHD to focus in that. We have like standardized testing, we have timed exams, like all these examples are things that are systems that fit a neurotypical brain. So this is a kind of a vague chart, but look at the increase in diagnoses of ADHD, right? From the 90s to 2020, that's a decade. There's what we're calling an ADHD epidemic, or like an explosion, but why, right? We have to ask ourselves, why is there this diagnosis? Like, it's not a virus and it's not this like contagious thing. There's a reason for it. And yes, we do have better like diagnostic tools and more awareness, but that is not the only reason. ADHD is absolutely real, right? I'm not saying it's not. This is research about like physical, scientific proof that there is structural differences in the brain of an ADHD person, that it is a real existing condition, but the problems that a person faces with ADHD are so hard to manage and so prevalent, mainly because of their environment and because of this system that we built that does not fit them, right? So I also did a bunch of research on like other countries and other cultures and their schooling systems who still have the same amount of ADHD, but their problems are seen so much less, and that just points directly to environment, right? Like, that shows you ADHD is not suddenly appearing, like children are not suddenly different, they're not suddenly broken. It's the environment and it's the system, and it's just becoming clearer and clearer that it doesn't fit. With all of that, like moving on is something that I struggled to come up with, because I don't want to ask American people to think, okay, so we have to ditch our values completely, right? Like productivity, hard work, constant like producing, right? That is all important to America, and like something that makes us unique. We do have to expand that, right? Like, achievement cannot only be measured in one way. There has to be more that we can do. In schools, we need to focus less on quantity, less on checking boxes, less on how many tests, how many units can I get in, how many hours can I do, things like that, and focus way more on quality, right? Like engagement with the class, engagement with the material, with the learning, with the teachers, students, discussion, critical thinking, right? There has to be more than just one way to learn, and there is more than one way to learn, and we have to be implementing that way more, because it is just not fair to us as students to be expected to learn like this, because we can't. The amount of students that I think would benefit from an assignment where you're sitting down with the teacher and just talking. There is no pressure of a grade or pressure to perform. You're studying the content to be able to talk about it and learn and use it rather than performing for a test. Neurodiverse society cannot thrive on uniformity. It thrives when learning is rich, when learning is real, when it's authentic, when it's engaging. And we need to redirect the system to fit the entire range of human cognition, right? Because we're vast and we're okay. So here's my call to action, which is mainly for if you're an educator, if you're on a school board, if you have any say in the system itself, that is for you. But if you're a student, which I think most of you will be on here, it's up to you to, like, when there's not change that you want to see, it's up to you to spark that, right? Change kind of comes from us and comes from your passion and your willingness to push. We have to redirect that narrative of, like, what's wrong with children today to what is wrong with the environment, what is wrong with the system that we built, and why isn't it fitting anyone, right? Because it's not that children are broken, it's that their environments are and their systems are, and we need to do better to fit them in. A quick plug, if you go to Upper Dublin and have IP or CAP, those are two prime examples of two teachers that are going against this common sense and that are implementing things. Like, if you look at their classrooms, yeah, it's pretty and it's nice, but it's a lot more than that. It's implementing things that help different brains learn better. Their teaching styles, their assignments, their entire curriculum is an example of what our school systems need to look more like. Love ya. If you have IP or CAP, spend more time in their room.